What's up, Courtney?
Not much, just working on some stuff. How are you today, Lucas?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for calling in, Courtney. For the
Of
viewers,
course.
Courtney is our 100th follower. On the day we opened up our Instagram, we hit over 100 followers. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for all the support that you guys have given us. And I thought it'd be fun if we called in Courtney, have her guest speak on this show.
I'm excited to be here and very excited to be your 100th follower.
What are you up to right now? You said you're working?
Yeah, I'm working on some cover letters for some job applications.
Oh, cool. Which jobs?
Just some live streaming jobs for some different schools.
For those who don't know, Courtney and I go way back to the long old days of 2 years ago.
Yes.
We actually helped work on each other's first short film set. It was fantastic. We started at 6 o'clock, went to 2 a.m. on a Monday night. I had no shooting order, and I believe 99 shots I wanted to get within an 8-hour
Something
span.
like that.
Yeah, something like that. You know, I was the king of efficiency right there. I was the king of efficiency. I'm curious, Courtney. We're talking a lot about movies in this podcast. What is a movie you saw this summer that you recommend, just to anyone?
That's a great question. I'll actually say one that I just watched like 2 days ago that just came out on Netflix that I thought was pretty good.
It's called Uglies. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Not quite. I haven't watched that one yet.
Oh God, don't watch it. It's trash. I saw the first 10 minutes of it. Like the premise is, yeah, go on. I'll go on an angry tirade for an hour, and I'll totally cut you off.
God. I still feel like I have to watch it, but we'll see. I watched The Woman of the Hour. I'm not sure if it came out before. I just looked it up. It said it came out in 2023, but I guess it just came out on Netflix a few days ago. But it was with Anna Kendrick, her first ever film that she directed and starred in as well. But it was based off a true story about this guy that he was a photographer, but he would find women and ask to have like a photo shoot with them, and then surprise, at the end he would kill them.
Oh, don't you hate it when that happens?
Yes, I hate it so much.
Yeah, because usually you have to spend more money, because then you got to pay for, you got to pay to have your carpets clean, you got to pay to arrange your own funeral. Like, those serial killers, like, their rates are so expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, so, that's what I watched. I love my
serial
based
killers.
Off true stories and stuff like that. So, it was really interesting. I thought Anna did a great job, and although it was a pretty dark story, I thought overall it was a pretty good film, and I definitely recommend.
No, that sounds interesting. What was it called?
Woman of the Hour.
Woman of the Hour. Be sure to check that out. That's Courtney's plug. Well, thank you for joining us today, Courtney.
Thank you for letting me be a part of it, Lucas.
Absolutely. All right. Well, roll on to the episode. Welcome, guys. I love how the moment I start caring about politics, Pennsylvania all of a sudden is the most important state in any election. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I've been getting so many calls today. Oh, this one text, though, was so bad. This one text I got. Right now, Donald Trump is losing in PA because voters like you have not returned their ballot. If you want Trump to win, you must vote. No excuses. Please take 30 seconds, fill out your ballot, vote for Trump, and mail it back today. Stop to end. It was harassment.
Oh my God.
I was being harassed.
I'm getting hella fucking messages about this goddamn election. I don't know what my number got put into to make it to where I get all these text messages, dude, but I at least have 30 unopened text messages just from these kind of accounts.
Politics aside, sometimes it feels like I'm in the rain when I'm thinking about this election, but we're going to be singing in the rain. I'll let you kick things off, Marsh. What were your impressions of it?
My impression of this movie was, at first, I didn't really know where they were going with this whole storyline of Don Lockwood and the... Like, what is up with the past 2 out of 3 films dealing with this love triangle shit, dude?
Was it even a love triangle? I feel like Cosmo. It was Don, Cosmo, and Kathy, and I feel like Cosmo was just kind of there. He didn't really do anything.
No. I was more looking at it from the aspect of Lena Lamont or whatever her name is, and fucking Cassie.
Oh yeah,
or
you're right.
Miss
Kathy.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like that. Like it's weird that out of the last 2 of the 3 films, there's been 2 different love triangles.
People were into that. That was big in the 1950s.
As far like at first, I didn't really know where they were going with the whole like Lena trying to push her into like the position of, oh, you're gonna do this for me because you're under contract, yada yada yada. I know I'm kind of jumping pace from the whole beginning of the film to the end of the film.
No, you're good.
But it was very odd, but I don't know. I also enjoyed the movie a lot for not only its cinematography, also what would the word be for music in this?
Score.
Like what's
but I guess also music numbers. It is a musical, so the songs you could say.
You know, even like the background noises to me were just like phenomenal how they were placed like at the time when it like shit was going on. Like
yeah, the score.
when he's doing the musical bit, when like he's actually in Las Vegas or Hollywood, whatever it is. I think he's in Las Vegas.
I believe it's LA.
The one girl in like the green dress is dancing, and then like as she's moving her hips back and forth, they're like using noises in the background to signify her doing that. I don't know. That to me was just really fucking funny.
How many musicals have you seen before this?
To be honest with you, none. This was my first musical. This was a new one for me.
No, yeah, same, because I was saying this last week. I'm not the biggest musical fan. I don't know what it is. Like, I enjoy watching them in Broadway. I enjoy performing in them, but if I have the option to sit down and watch a genre piece, I'm not going to sit down and watch a musical.
Yeah, exactly. This was a different niche for both of our kind of like movie categories, but it was a very solid film. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters, the way that like they developed through the film, and also who was the funniest character? Who was the funniest character? Maybe I can point that out.
Probably Cosmo, his friend.
Yeah. Cosmo definitely has.
He literally
that,
has a song about that. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. I feel like I would be cast as Cosmo if there was a live version of this. Just my hunch.
Do you have any things you'd like to bring up about the film?
Yeah,
like what you liked about it?
First off, I was dreading this a little bit going into it because I knew it was almost 2 hours long, and I was like, what can they shove in 2 hours to make this worthwhile? But the pacing.
I actually kind of liked it that the movie was kind of shorter than like what we've previously watched.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The movie is an hour 45, and after watching the slog that was Akiru, I'm so happy that Singin' in the Rain was short, sweet, and concise, because the pacing of this was a lot better than the last 2 films. It was a lot quicker. I mean that in terms of the shots, too. There weren't many shots that kind of lingered.
Yeah. Everything was just kind of like transition. This happens, transition, that happens. We move on with the story. So, also, really love the transitions of them using like the newspapers as the transition arc.
Oh yeah, this film was very audacious. Did you notice that? They did blue screen in this, I was not expecting to see blue screen in this.
Yeah, no, that was different. That was definitely different.
The thing that I feel like I respect most about this film is not only its ambition with those sorts of things, but also its reliance on Hollywood history. Because to me, the reason why I like this story is because I want to work in Hollywood. I want to go there. I want to be a writer. And seeing the sort of recapture filmmaking history 30 years after the fact that we transitioned from silent film to talkies, I respected the story a lot for bringing up the jazz singer and directly addressing Warner Brothers, which was the first talking film for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, that was cool. They name dropped some actor. Or no. Who was it? It was something Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge, the president.
Yeah. That's a president. Oh my god, I'm fucking stupid, man. I don't remember shit about American history.
Nah, you're good, dude. Fuck. No, Calvin Coolidge is the most boring president. He is known for being boring. One time, there was a dinner where I think it was one of his friends or some guest at the White House said to him, I bet you I can get you to say at least 3 words. And Calvin looked at him and said, you lose.
What, man?
Yeah.
What, dude?
Calvin Coolidge, he took over for Warren Harding. Warren Harding was, I'm a big history presidential buff. It's one of my niches. Warren Harding was this guy who got elected about a century ago, and he died from a heart attack. And when Calvin found out that Warren died, he woke up. He was up in some log cabin up in the Northeast, took the oath of office, then went back to bed. That was the kind of energy that Calvin Coolidge had.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
That's
terrible.
Yeah. I was very surprised by how many music numbers I knew in this, and I feel like this is a big problem. When my point of reference is Family Guy, that says a lot about me.
It's bad. I was about to bring this up to you.
It's very bad
because
two of the songs in this film are referenced in Family Guy in two very noteworthy scenes. We're of course talking about the Good Morning montage when Joe Swanson gets his. We should just turn this into a Family Guy podcast because this is the second week in a row we're talking about it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the episode when he gets his legs back, right? Yeah.
Back as though they went away. Dude, he was in a wheelchair. They were always there. They were just inoperable.
His legs working.
Yeah, his legs started working, and he teaches them. For some reason, they practice "Good morning, good morning to you." Do you remember the other song that Family Guy did?
No, it was the one that they were singing in the fucking.
Quagmire does his classic giggity giggity goo, and then he goes, "Make him laugh, make him laugh." Da 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 da.
Never noticed that,
dude. When Cosmo started singing that, I literally stood up in my seat and said, "That's where this is from, bro."
That's how I felt with whatever the other song was we were just saying about.
Good Morning, because that one was much more obvious.
Yeah.
The story was okay. I mean, it's what you expect. I did really like how.
The time frame.
I don't know how you felt about this. I liked how much of an ass Don was. At the start, he tells us about how much dignity he has as a person, how much integrity he has, when in reality, very sleazy guy, very narcissistic.
Yeah.
At worst, little rapey, not that good. But he...
Yeah, that double-edged sword, I believe the phrase.
No, yeah, he's just a dick. He's just a pompous asshole. And I was really hoping that this movie would explore that more. Because the opening scene, I was really hoping that whatever failure he faces in this would be tied into his assholery. It isn't really, though, because, like, the talky stuff is interesting. That stuff's cool, and that sort of, like, leads to his downfall, his career setback, if you will.
They did kind of dive into, like, what you're talking about towards the very end of the film, when they make Lima, or whatever her name is, sing in the Rain while Kathy's singing it behind her.
Fantastic.
And, like, he kind of forces her to go do that.
Yeah.
Like... But then he also does kind of make it up to her by when she walks out, and he, like, does the call out of she's the one who voiced her.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of like it goes
redemption.
both ways in that aspect.
It is, but I still feel like it wasn't really tied to him. They turn Lena into the villain in the last act, and it doesn't make sense because Dawn is the one who's cheating on Lena. Or does he make it very clear that he doesn't want her and she's just in denial? Is she forcing himself on him? Because it doesn't look like that.
That's what I kind of seemed in, like, at least it was towards the third act when Lima, like, first finds out about, like, Kathy doing that before she releases all those statements to the paper and shit.
I feel like Don is definitely the least... I mean, he's charismatic, sure, but he's definitely the least likable character out of this cast. I feel like he does the most wrong, and I wish he had more repercussions for his actions. He does do something selfless at the end, but in a way it is kind of selfish because it serves his own interests of sleeping with Kathy. So
yeah, compared to him actually, like, wanting to see good in her career.
He does want to see good in her career. He believes in her.
Yeah, but he's more valuing, the poo-tang, lack of a better word, than,
yes.
That.
Every normal person says that. It was a very fun watch as a film, but it's a musical story. It's weak.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we haven't really seen many musicals, so we can't really partake too much on it. I mean, you've probably seen more than I have.
The arc is good because it's there, but the thing I noticed is that we have a lot of padding, and the humor's good. This is a very funny, very, very funny movie, and musical numbers. Yeah. But I feel as though the changes in the characters and their mentality, very abrupt, just like that immediately. We had those beats, but they weren't really gradually built up on. They weren't really established. Kathy, for instance, I feel like falls to this in the worst ways. When she goes from hating him to liking him after Dawn stands up for her at this meeting, even though she was the one who wanted to quit, and she, like, tells the producer, "You should fire me. I threw cake in Lena's face." Dawn's like, "No, she's fantastic. Keep her." She starts to warm up for him, and within the next scene, they're, like, dancing around in this empty soundstage saying that they're in love. During the third act, Dawn says, "I love you," which is a part of narrative storytelling I will always hate just because it's not realistic. It's so fairy tale. That's just my own personal pet peeve. But the thing that I didn't like was Kathy saying, "I'll do it. I'll lip sync for Lena, but you'll never see me again." We never really see her frustration. We never really go through her perspective. She seems very into the idea of lip syncing for Lena, at least when Cosmo pitches it after Good Morning. When she learns that she's contractually bound to it, we don't really get her perspective enough where that reaction feels justified.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree. I mean, but also we do kind of gotta like look at it from like the time frame perspective as well.
Absolutely.
Because
and the genre too.
I mean, were women like now the granted this is a very hot topic, but we're like women able to vote then?
Yeah, women were able to vote. They learned how to vote in. Oh my god, they were.
They learned.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Clip that immediately.
No, that's not what I meant at all. No. The women were granted suffrage status, and it was before the 1920 election. I don't know if it was 1919 or 1920. I think it was January 1920.
But like still even back then, like women were kind of more like, like the housewife kind of thing when like the men did the work. 2000 and I'd probably even say the 1990s is where they kind of like worked out of that.
It's really weird. I was like, okay, this film was probably not written by any women, but no, this was written by Betty Comden and Adolph Green. So interesting. What do I know? I feel like with a woman as a writer, you would get a little bit more perspective. And I feel like we did get that enough. Kathy's initial disdain for Dawn felt very realistic. It felt very natural. But
yeah,
I wish that sort of naturalness that was established in the first act could have carried over to the other two acts, because I know that those moments weren't justified based off the characters. It was more justified because the story needed to move forward.
I can definitely agree with that.
What were your thoughts on the humor of this film?
Oh, 5 out of 5, dude. This shit was peak fiction as far as humor goes. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just all the little quirks that they... Like, I can't think of a specific moment, to be honest with you. But just, like, every moment that they can, like, throw a jab at something, they do. And I don't know, it hits. It sticks to the wall.
This was pretty funny. The montage where he's talking about how he got to start in Hollywood and how he just lies through the whole thing, and it's just a visual montage of him doing a bunch of like bummy jobs, like getting sent off a cliff into the water, or him walking into a cabin.
That was so funny. That was so funny. I'm like, what's going on right now?
Or like oh my gosh, as a filmmaker. No, I was so happy with the audio running gag. The fact that we got a string of gags about like audio problems, perfect for filmmakers. If you're a young filmmaker and you haven't seen this, there's so many good bits about being a filmmaker in this. And the songs were good. I feel like a song needs to be narratively relevant, or at least thematically relevant. Most of the songs work.
Yeah, no, the music was pretty solid. I can't lie. Here's a fun fact for you. My Graham actually watched this film. I mean, it does kind of fit in her time frame, but I never knew she watched this, and she actually loves it. And she also asked me, so when you guys doing The Wizard of Oz? And I'm like, I don't know if it's on this list or not.
It's probably on the list. I don't see why it wouldn't be on the list. Which songs did you like? What were your favorite songs?
Like, it's funny that I did like Good Morning simply because of the stupid Family Guy bit.
What are you talking about?
It is a good song, though. It is definitely a good song. It's catchy. It has a nice rhythm to it. Especially like how like the beat is just kind of like them like clicking their feet to it. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of how like more music was back then. Yeah, I'd probably also have to say the other song that you mentioned that was also a Family Guy bit that fucking Cosmo did with Don and what was his name? RF, was that his name? The like producer type guy.
Yeah, I think
those were probably my favorite too. Weirdly enough,
I was a big fan of Make Him Laugh. The choreography in that is hilarious. His acting, his performance of that is just fantastic.
So let's ask you this: what do you rate this film?
What do I rate this film? I'm feeling 3.5 out of 5 stars on this one. This one was very entertaining. It was charming. It was whimsical, and the songs are really catchy. I can't really complain. I really enjoyed this. What about you?
Absolutely. You know what? Yeah, I think this is gonna be the first one. I'm giving this a 4.
Really?
Getting a 4-star from me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, like for this being my first musical, dude, like I didn't know what I was in for as far as like how musicals usually work. Everything that was going on the screen kept me entertained while I was actually listening back to like the audio that was going on.
Yeah.
Of like them talking and whatnot. No, it was just like it was perfect for me.
It was a pleasant surprise.
I'm not gonna lie. Now, here's the real question, Lucas. Where does this go on the list?
Where are we putting it? So we have Akira at the bottom, and then we have The Apartment at the top. Where are we squeezing it? Where does Singin' in the Rain go? Let's hear your arguments. Where do you think it should go?
Personally, since I think this is the best film we've watched this far, I think this should go 1 for now.
I feel like it should go below The Apartment. The Apartment's story is better. The Apartment is just better made. Singin' in the Rain had a lot of money thrown at it. It has a lot of pizzazz, but The Apartment
show up front.
Yeah, The Apartment, I feel, has more substance. There's more emotional connection we feel to the characters. So I feel like as a story, because that's how I'm mainly going to be rating these, like mainly based off like the story, I feel like the story for The Apartment is just stronger. If we want to, we could leave it up to the audience to decide. They could cast a vote on a poll, and then from there we can
Instagram,
move on.
yeah.
Yeah. So
we could do honestly, I'm in favor of doing that. We'll hold it up to a vote.
Perfect.
Yes,
so
and what were you about to say? I'm sorry.
No, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, what do we have up for next week?
That's what I was gonna talk about. Great minds think alike.
All right.
Great minds think alike. It is the hit 2010 animated film. I believe it's Oscar Award winning. Toy Story 3 is up next. Such a big
Toy Story 3 is up next.
Big moment of whiplash. Right. I am psyched for this one. I can talk for hours about this film because this is the first one on this list that I have seen beforehand, and it is the
same here.
Yeah, it's the first one that I have a strong emotional attachment to. So being able to look at this critically, find faults in it is going to be very difficult for me. Also, this is going to be interesting. Are you going to be rating this in terms of a sequel or in terms of its own standalone movie? Because I feel like it is one of the greatest sequels ever made. As a movie,
as a standalone film.
I'm gonna go as a standalone film. I'm gonna check it out, see how it goes, because I could rave for hours about just like how just brilliant of an ending it is to probably the greatest animated trilogy ever made.
Oh, absolutely.
No, cool.
All right, well, is this where we're wrapping this up?
Yeah, I guess so, buddy. All right, thank you for watching this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, Instagram. I believe we're still getting a TikTok up, and be sure to follow Slarshbones on Twitch. That's all for this week, guys.
Yes, sir. Peace out.